Hey guys, this is Brad and Mike with Kyla from Dallas Geek, and we are back live. So as you probably noticed from the title of the video, we are back doing our Marvel Phase 3 review. We're finally catching up to the latest movies that have been out, and yeah, gonna give our opinions, see what we thought, bring in a third opinion to be able to get a little extra perspective, and yeah.
I was roped into it.
I mean, I wouldn't say roped as much as
peer pressure.
We suggested, and you couldn't pass up giving Mike crap live.
Yeah, okay.
Because that's true. That's kind of awesome.
That's fair.
Mike, how you doing over there?
Whatever.
Here's as the King Eggs comes out.
So,
yes, Brad. Great transition.
Anyway, as always, just to point out, if this is your first time watching one of our videos, thank you for joining us. And of course, if you are watching us on YouTube, go ahead and don't forget to subscribe down here or on the screen right over here. And on Facebook, don't forget to like and follow us.
Up here somewhere, right?
Yeah, somewhere up here. Yeah.
Do you realize how ridiculous you look?
Oh, he knows.
I want to get out of here.
And if you like our videos but don't always have time to watch, we have all of our interviews and podcasts on audio for iTunes, for Google Play, iHeartRadio, Stitcher.
You have gotten on Spotify yet?
iHeartRadio. Wait, I said that. Spotify. Thank you.
Tinder.
No, not so much. I mean, maybe you, but no.
Grindr.
Maybe you.
Anyway, so Marvel Phase 3. Overall, what did we think of it? How were the movies? Was it a successful phase of the MCU?
So much happened. I'm not recovered.
Yeah, I think the fact that like this phase alone, I think grossed $10 billion. I would say it was successful. Just a smidge.
A little bit, yeah.
I think like the most unsuccessful movie of it was Ant-Man and the Wasp, and I think that one made like $400 million.
Which is saying something.
And that's unsuccessful. Like.
But yeah, I mean, yeah, I'd have to say that Phase 3 probably had the most successful, the most popular movies of the entire MCU so far.
Yeah.
I mean, we got, what? We had Guardians 2.
Yep.
We had 2 Spider-Man movies.
Yep.
We had 2 Avengers movies.
Yep.
We had a Captain America movie.
Yep.
We had an Ant-Man movie.
Okay.
We had Doctor Strange.
Yep.
We had Black Panther.
Yep.
And who am I forgetting?
Really?
Is that it?
No,
Thor?
You're missing 2
Thor.
movies.
We got a
one
third
more.
Thor, and then we got
What's the other one?
It came out this year.
Captain Marvel.
There you go.
Oops.
The namesake of the whole thing.
Oops.
Yeah. So, I mean, I have to say that's a lot. I mean, we were talking before,
And that was
this is probably the largest phase of the entire MCU.
And that was in a
Movies?
3-year span.
Was it 3 years?
2016 was Civil War.
Oh,
So all of that was in a 3-year span.
Yeah, that was.
That's why we haven't
that was
recovered.
packed.
It was a lot in 3 years.
Yeah, a lot of major events, a lot of just big things that happened, but a lot of good things. Some really amazing things, honestly.
Are we talking about you having a kid, or are we talking about movies at this point?
Yes.
I mean, yeah.
I mean, I'm sorry, your wife having a kid.
Oh yeah,
And
that is fair.
And you being there for moral support.
That is fair. I can't really take credit for the actual, bringing him into the world part.
Right.
I mean, he's 50% you.
Yeah, but
I'm sorry, have you seen that big ass head? He is like 90% Brad. And 80% of that is in his skull.
That's fair.
Yeah.
That is fair. So, let's go ahead and just quickly go into work, because we do have to go quickly if we're going to actually fit them all in time.
That's what she said?
Well...
Why'd you have to go there?
That's also
Doesn't he
what
always-
she said?
Innuendos are fine, language is not. It is the difference of what gets us, you know.
So we can play with double entendres, then, is what you're telling me.
Oh yeah, that won't get us demonetized in the
clever
future when we become monetized.
I was gonna
It's
say-
all a
I
thing.
was about to say, do we really have to worry about that right now?
Now, no, but eventually we do want this to be able to actually do something for us.
That's what she
Eventually. Eventually. So, what was the first movie in the
You
Phase
good?
3, Mike?
Yes.
said. You sure?
Yes.
Positive.
No.
Good.
So, Mike, what was the first movie in Phase 3?
Are you legitimately asking me because you don't know, or are you because you know and you want me to talk about it?
What do you think?
The first one?
It's the latter.
That means the first one, right?
That means the last one.
Oh, shit. It was Captain America Civil War.
Yes. And what did you think of it?
It was fantastic.
Hey,
Obviously.
Oh, our colors match with that.
On top of the fact that it was a... Jesus Christ.
What?
Okay, so she's never allowed on one of these ever again.
You'll always try to get me in front of the camera.
Right.
Not live!
Mike, continue. What did we think?
I know what I thought, and the only thing that, that's really the only opinion I care about anyway.
Mm-hmm.
No, the movie was fantastic. It was built up perfectly over the course of, I guess, 2 phases, because you had the first Avenger in Phase 1, you had Winter Soldier in Phase 2, and then they had also kind of started building towards it in Phase 2 with other movies. But no, this
Whenever
movie...
you show up.
This movie solidifies what I had always known.
Which is?
Tony Stark is the biggest piece of crap on the planet. And the greatest villain in the MCU.
I mean, you're not wrong.
No, no I'm not.
But...
We can literally just go down a laundry list of shit that he caused. That he was the root problem for.
We have a time frame for this live stream.
Yes. Yeah, we
I don't
can't go through
care.
the whole thing, but yeah, no, it
Nope,
is...
Nope, I'm playing my filibuster. No. I'm
No!
taking this shit over.
This isn't Parks and Rec. We're not going into some weird fanfic about how this crosses over with
Okay,
Star
well,
Wars.
Number one.
Especially because he's missing these rollerblades too, so like...
Number 1, it wasn't weird fanfic. Number 2, the Patton Oswalt Star Wars filibuster might be one of the greatest things in the history of television.
Anyway, so, yeah, no, I mean, it is, I mean, it does kind of have to go to say that Civil War did kind of prove that most of the issues in the MCU were caused by Tony Stark.
At least 75%.
Nothing connected to Thor was
most.
Tony's fault.
What was connected to Thor, though?
Loki.
Fair. But this movie is the reason why they lose in Infinity War, and I will always stand by that.
Oh, absolutely. No, Civil War was absolutely why Infinity War was even possible in the first place.
Because Tony Stark is a D-bag that has to get his own way, otherwise he throws a temper tantrum like a 10-year-old.
Yeah.
And you don't?
No. Because I never don't get my way.
Plus, Civil War brought back your favorite character, the Winter Soldier.
Yeah.
Actually got more screen time.
And he kicks the crap out of even more people in this one.
Yeah. But this time he knew what he was doing.
Except for like halfway through the movie when he got brainwashed again.
Okay. Okay.
Plus
His
this,
brain goes to
But
mush.
we also got the introduction of Black Panther,
and
which was a great way to do a soft intro for him.
and the other big introduction. Underoos!
Yes.
Which I remember watching that second trailer, and he just catches the shield and he's just like, "Hey everyone." I was like, "What? They're actually doing it?"
That may have been a better introduction than Black Panther. Although the end result of Black Panther's movie, I think, was stronger than the first Spider-Man movie. But
Was it though?
yeah, I think it really was.
The end result, yeah.
But
Are we talking because of societal commentary, or are we talking because of
the quality of the actual storytelling?
I was completely blown away with Black Panther, personally.
I mean, yes, like with every other movie in the MCU, there were issues with the plot that you can pick apart all day long, but in terms of the depth and complexity of storytelling, Black Panther was stronger than Spider-Man Homecoming.
I'm going to hold my thought on that because we're going to get to these movies later.
Yes, we are. Speaking of, after Civil War, we had...
Well, I wasn't done with Civil War.
Oh, okay.
Okay.
Fine. What was it? What else you have
You
to
can
say?
talk for a couple hours on Civil War, though.
I can, and I will.
You have 60 seconds. Go.
Is this your love life?
1.
Um,
Wow. 7. 20.
What? That is not how math works.
I'm a math teacher, yes it
That's
is.
not how sequential numbering works. That's not how anything works.
47. 48.
You skipped the important
So
one.
now you're gonna go in order? What the hell? So with Civil War,
69.
of course you would. Looking at you, not him.
No, I said 59. He said 69.
You both said it.
No, I said 59.
No, so
What?
the big thing with Civil War was we finally got that build up to, and we saw it in Age of Ultron where they had the big comic book moment. Where there was the scene and the way that it was shot, like it actually felt like a splash page, and like that was something that Whedon did specifically in Age of Ultron when they're all trying to defend the drill and it's kind of going person to person and they're all doing that thing. And this one was literally they're all running at each other and then they all just converge on each other.
So I
Isn't
will.
there like a slow-mo frame in there for like a split second?
Yeah.
Okay.
So I will.
They're not stopping.
I will argue.
Neither are we.
I will argue.
Oh, here we go.
I will argue this
It's like,
one
oh,
with
we're
you.
doing this.
With as many flaws as Age of Ultron had, that particular moment, that comic book splash scene moment, was better in Avengers and Age of Ultron than it was in Civil War.
Yeah.
Because the scope of the scene was just so much more grandiose in the other two, and in reality it was only for that half second that the scope felt big, and then a split second later you realize, oh, this is basically just a small group of people fighting on a tarmac in an abandoned part of an airport.
I like that.
But
juxtaposition,
we also
It lacked the grandiose nature that the comics usually have.
But they followed that up with the fact that the Act 3 fight wasn't this big over the top.
Yeah.
It was literally them fighting in a bunker because the entire story was about those two.
Yeah,
And that's what it
within the
did so well,
context
is
of
it
the
brought
movie, it
everybody, and then they brought it all back to this very intimate, very like, these are two friends beating the hell out of each other moment.
Within the context of the movie, yeah, it worked. But if we're going to be trying to say that it was a great, that great comic book moment, it, for me, lacked the massive nature that type of scene should have. Like, if the camera had stayed tight the entire time and hadn't gone from, okay, big comic book moment, and then wide angle, it would have had more depth for me. But the fact that they cut out and you going, oh, that's just like a small squabble. It
wasn't really
away
a squabble.
from
It wasn't a small squabble when Ant-Man was a giant man.
Oh, no,
And then there was
And then
the
the introduction of
Vision with the
Spider-Man.
beam and property damage wise, but still.
Oh,
Anyway,
I like the juxtaposition personally, because like going from like you always have like these big huge moments of like, oh, there's so much crap going. I said crap. So much crap going on.
crap's okay.
Well, I know crap's okay, but like my brain said the other one, so I was like, wait, which one did I say out loud? So much crap going on, but like you said, it showed that it was just like a small squabble between like superheroes who are beating the crap out of each other. Mm-hmm. Yeah, I liked it personally. I think it was more impactful than the Age of Ultron run, but that's me personally.
Well, that's because the movie overall was stronger than Age of Ultron. I mean, a lot of them were though.
Well, I mean, like, yeah, I know the movie was stronger, but I'm saying like comparing the scene where he said we're going person to person around in the circle versus the two coming at each other on tarmac.
Sure.
The two coming at each other on tarmac to me was much more memorable.
Okay.
Like just looking at those two specifically, not like the movie as a whole.
Fair enough.
That's just me.
So then after Civil War, we had
Doctor Strange.
Which,
by the way, I think it was on a previous podcast or a video that I said that I would give your soul if I could have Benedict Cumberbatch play Doctor Strange.
Was it really?
Yes.
Well,
so
you got your wish.
I did.
But I mean,
and when you do the edited version of this video, you're gonna have to go back and sift through the archive, find that clip, and insert it.
No.
Yes.
There won't be an edited version of this as long as there are no technical difficulties this time. I'm
So
not spitting that.
If I just start knocking stuff over.
I'm just gonna smack you, but it's not gonna.
I'll
make a
smack him
difference.
for
If I just start dropping F-bombs, then.
I think
I'm
let
really
you
gonna hit you.
Yeah.
Anyway,
and then I got my wish. So
yeah, no, you did.
You might have to be paying up soon.
But yeah, so what was really the best part about Doctor Strange? Because I think of all of Phase 3, while it had the most impact on the phase overall, it may have been the weakest standalone film.
I don't know about that.
Which one to say is weaker then?
It
Captain
was
Marvel.
Right.
Really.
What did it?
Yeah.
What did it do? What did it provide? What did it give us?
Potentially set up for additional phases, which this.
But this one did that even more so. And it gave us huge plot points for movies moving forward.
Okay.
Like.
Okay,
the fact that
that's fair.
The fact that Kevin Feige in interviews was like, yeah, the whole idea of the multiverse we already introduced in Doctor Strange, just nobody was paying attention.
Fair. Let me watch it. Okay, so
Doctor Strange was awesome though.
Yeah.
I love Doctor Strange.
It was.
I really liked.
That was one of my personal favorites.
I really liked Cumberbatch. Like I thought that was
Bandersnatch.
What?
Bandersnatch.
What? Shut up.
At least you know what I'm talking about. Thank you.
Why do we have her here?
Oh, you invited me.
Invited's a strong word. Wow. And I lost my train of thought. Thanks. Somebody else talk.
Benedict Cumberbatch.
Awesome. Fantastic. Really was a fantastic choice for the character. The flow of the movie was also really good too. Set up a lot of stuff for future movies, not only in his franchise, but in the MCU in large. And then it did introduce us one of the Infinity Stones as well.
And who else did it introduce for us?
The Ancient One?
No. Who cares about that?
SJWs?
No. Who else was introduced in that movie? The most important man, potentially important man in the MCU.
I don't know who you're referring to, I'm sorry.
The sidekick.
Oh,
Wong! Freaking Wong! I mean, tell me he was not the critical linchpin for making the end fight for Endgame even possible.
Oh, I mean, yeah.
It's very true.
Just saying.
Although it all comes back to Strange, because it was Strange's plan. Of the 14 million.
But do you really trust that
futures.
Strange would have had the plan without Wong being there to support him?
Yes.
Really?
Because he's Doctor Strange, bitch.
But it's Wong!
He's Benedict Cumberbatch, bitch.
But it's Wong!
I guess.
Anyway, but I will say, you want to talk about weak
It also
Marvel
felt
villains?
like it also felt like the most unformulaic Marvel film too.
Okay, yeah.
Because they did some really bizarre, out there stuff in terms of the storytelling and in terms of the visuals as well.
So the VFX,
like the
in that
visuals,
one,
like the visual effects especially. I was just like,
That
are they
also
upside
later-
down right now, or are we upside down? What the hell's going on?
Later turned into a meme too. but-
Yeah. Like the VFX in that, honestly, they were able to take something that we'd previously seen sort of done with Inception and not replicate it, but
Oh my
like,
god, now I
pop
want
it.
Christopher Nolan to direct the Marvel movie.
Like they didn't replicate what it did. They topped it. Like they genuinely topped it for the VFX side,
Right, yeah,
because they took that effect and said, no, we got something else that we can do with this that will make it genuinely trippy without hitting that uncanny valley, because what we're going to do, you aren't going to care about the uncanny valley. It's just going to be a thing. Yeah. No, so, but it did have one of the weaker, two of the weaker villains, technically.
Played by Mads Mikkelsen, so he automatically jumps up like 8 points.
Really?
Yes. Because Mads' greatness.
He seemed much more emo than most of the MCU villains.
Well, it's because you also have this one to compare it to.
I mean, do we really need to go back and look at such great villains as Whiplash and Justin Hammer? Or the Mandarin?
Mandarin.
Hey! Phase 4 is bringing in the Ten Rings.
You said we weren't going to talk about that today.
We're not.
Well, you can't effing say that and then say we don't get to talk about it.
They have the internet, it's fine.
I don't care if they have the internet.
Anyway, so what else? After Doctor Strange, we had
Guardians 2 Electric Boogaloo.
Yes.
Which, if there's ever going to be
I'm
a
still
movie...
surprised that actually wasn't the title of the movie.
Yeah, I mean, if there was ever going to be a movie that could have been the
perfect one
part of the
for
title, that should have been
right.
it.
Yeah.
We actually got David Hasselhoff in that movie.
We did get David Hasselhoff in that movie.
Like, properly. Not a picture of him. We got David freaking Hasselhoff to actually make a cameo.
Yeah.
And Stallone. And oddly, Miley Cyrus.
Yep.
Still not
Michael Rosenbaum.
understanding that one. Yeah. So much.
Yeah. That movie was fun.
It was a fun
Kurt
movie.
Russell.
So Kurt Russell, honestly, a lot of people give him and his character flack. I gotta say, he may have been one of the more
He was an evil bastard.
He may have been one of the more
Ego.
well-developed
Yeah.
villains in the franchise so far, because
I don't know what you expected.
you don't need much to him.
Yeah.
But his backstory was, like, it made sense. There really weren't any plot holes in why he was doing what he was doing. How? Sure. But why? No. It made complete sense. And even the motivation that ended up giving Peter Quill, it made sense.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Like, it just worked.
His name actually follows function. Forms follows function.
Hmm?
Form follows function. His name is Ego.
Stop
has
talking.
big. What?
Just stop.
That's the teacher in me.
Also, his motivations are based around everything that the ego is focused on, which is basic survival.
Don't encourage her.
My English teacher would be proud of me right now.
What do you?
She, yes.
Sorry, would she? With
Yes.
that
Anyway.
purple hair and
Nose ring.
devil worshipper's nose ring.
And the plethora of tattoos.
I'm proud of myself.
I'm not.
Meh.
I don't
Anyway,
need you to be proud of me.
I'm proud of you.
Thank you.
Don't
I
encourage
appreciate
that.
So, Guardians 2, how did it compare to the first one?
Way more serious.
it. Yeah. Not as like bouncy, flouncy, lighthearted as we got in the first one.
It still had it, but like this one really pulled at the heartstrings hard.
Actually gave
Hashtag daddy issues much?
Yeah, did Spielberg
Nebula
direct this damn movie? Jesus.
gave Nebula proper character development this time
Right.
around. She
Mhm.
wasn't just a side character that
No,
sure,
she did. I was about to say she
black
did a
sheep
lot
in
of
the family.
yeah, I was about to say they did a lot with her. They did a lot with Yondu.
Oh my
Aw.
gosh!
I'm Mary Poppins, y'all.
Seriously, Michael Rooker, like,
You look like Mary Poppins.
I liked.
Is he a badass? Yeah, he is.
I liked Michael
I'm Mary
Rooker
Poppins,
before
y'all.
this, but Guardians 2 honestly made me love Michael Rooker.
Mhm.
Like,
How
I
did you
need
not
more.
already?
I need more of him in everything.
I
It's just, it's a thing. It
Go
needs
watch,
to be a thing.
go watch Mallrats and then tell me you don't love him already.
We just rewatched one.
Oh hell, he was in that, wasn't he?
Yeah.
He's Claire Forlani's dad. Randy's dad.
Yep.
It's
If he
been
shows
so-
up again, you have my personal permission
It
to
has been
castrate him.
so long since I've seen that movie. I completely
We
forgot.
watched
just
it the other
watched it
night.
like Friday night.
Oh,
it's
that's
Friday
awesome.
night.
Yes.
Okay.
Oh, that's awesome.
But yeah, no. really did a great job of, like, again, it didn't feel like a formulaic superhero movie.
Yeah.
Like, they went out of their way to do a lot of character developing, they did a lot of world building, and then they also, it was...
Literally.
Yeah. And then also, like I said, it was just, it was an emotional movie.
Yeah.
Like, oh, I cried.
You would.
And you didn't?
No, I cried like a bit. I was like in the theater just like...
Yeah, I was not okay.
Oh.
Again, another reason why I'm still recovering
from the funeral scene at the end. Yeah. Spoilers if you haven't seen. Sorry, you had time.
Yeah, it's only been 2 years.
The funeral scene at the end, like, his death got me, but the funeral scene, that one just, that kicked me in the gut.
The original lineup of the original Guardians, played by Stallone, and that was awesome.
That was so great. And then, of course, the in-credit scene, which
one?
Who knows? Well, the one that
like 6 of
we were all hoping would have some kind of connection later on in Phase 3, maybe, and then we still don't know if it's going to happen after the announcement of what's happening in Phase 4. Who knows? With Adam Warlock and everything.
Yes.
Who knows what's going to happen there
if
it's
they
even continue to remember that.
They can't just not...
It's happening.
They can't just introduce him.
If they're bringing in Shang-Chi, they're going to give Adam Warlock something to do.
Please?
So, honestly, if they completely ignore Adam Warlock for Guardians 3 and then wait until Phase 5 to finally bring him in, I might actually laugh.
Like you and I said, or like I was telling you guys earlier, there's 3 movie dates that they confirmed that they did not announce anything for yesterday.
Yeah.
And they're all in 2022. One's February, that'll probably be Black Panther. One's in May, that could be Guardians, and then the other one's July.
And Captain Marvel 2.
No. You know what I want.
Feige already said Captain Marvel 2 is going to be a thing.
I know it is. They can put her on the back burner.
Just because you want Fantastic Four.
I want the Fantastic Four.
How do you know they're not going to be introduced in somebody else's movie as a soft intro?
The only one that would make sense would be Black Panther.
Black Panther got introduced in somebody else's movie, and that doesn't discredit his movie at all.
They are the first family of Marvel. They will get their own movie. They deserve a proper introduction after the crap they've had to deal with for the last decade and a half.
Yeah,
especially the Josh Trank abortion.
But seeing as how we've had 2 lackluster introductions to them,
right?
Do we really need an intro movie, or do we just want to go in with what happened with Sam Raimi's Spider-Man? And he's just established. You know,
that wasn't Sam Raimi's Spider-Man. That was the MCU Spider-Man. They did that.
Oh yeah, MCU. Well, sorry, I was also thinking the animated series too.
Yeah.
We just talked Spider-Man a lot. I'm still
which, by the way, the director's cut of Spider-Man 2 was on that weekend that Far From Home dropped.
Yeah.
Director's cut's better than Far From Home.
I haven't seen director's cut.
Oh, you need to see the director's cut. It's about 30 minutes longer.
What?
And it's
Isn't that
2?
Isn't that the longest movie out of the 3?
Yeah, it was.
Another
Interesting.
30 minutes?
Yep, you need to see it.
Is that extra 30 minutes really put it?
It's all character development.
Huh. Okay.
Wait, for who?
Everyone.
Okay.
Is it like 5 minutes for each person or something?
Pretty much. Like the scene where he goes to his doctor, where he goes to the doctor or whatever, and the doctor's telling him, like, you're not supposed to be Spider-Man. Or you're dreaming that because you're not supposed to. Like, that scene's another 6 or 7 minutes longer.
Okay.
I'm just like, I remembered halfway through, I was like, this is the director's cut. And then like 20 minutes later, I was like, I forgot how good the director's cut was. It is better than the theatrical cut.
Okay. Anyway,
think Blade Runner and then Blade Runner.
But so Guardians 2, great.
Yeah.
And then after Guardians 2, we had
10 out of 10.
I'm trying to remember, was it Thor or was it? It was Thor. No, it was Spider-Man.
No. Yeah.
It was Homecoming.
So we had Spider-Man Homecoming, and we already talked a bit about this in our Spider-Man retrospective, but just to recap really quickly,
it was okay.
It was good.
It was alright.
It was good.
It was there.
It was a solid introduction for this version of Spider-Man.
No, it did a lot of...
felt nice.
It brought him back to being a kid.
Yeah.
Like, a kid with a lot of issues and a lot of confidence issues and always questioning himself.
It grounded his
Super
character in the
awkward.
type of
Oh, we got to
personality he
see
was
Tony
supposed to
Stark
have.
be more of a dick. Except this time it was to a teenager.
So, to be fair,
Hey,
this
I'm gonna give you
this
this.
time it was
I'm gonna
merited.
give you this. I'm gonna give
This
you
time
this.
it was merited.
No, it wasn't.
Really?
I'm gonna give you this superpowered suit, but I'm not gonna show you how to use it or anything like that. Just make your best judgment. Oh,
Okay.
by the way,
Because
you're a
he
16-year-old
trusted
kid.
Okay, that part was a little... That
Stupid?
was
Yes.
just bad. Don't give someone a superpowered suit and then not tell them how it works and
No,
also put
engage.
restrictions into it.
Or, hey Tony,
Yeah.
I'm dealing with this. I could really use your help. Oh, what's that? You're at a wedding somewhere and you're not gonna show up to help me? Okay, I guess I'll just do it on my own next time. Oh, because you didn't show up last time to help me, now you're gonna chastise me because I tried to do it on my own this time?
Okay, that's fair.
I get one F-bomb, right?
No.
This isn't that kind of PG-13.
You should tell them, like, it's soft PG-13. Because soft PG-13 doesn't get the F-bomb.
Or I can, yeah, but I can still decapitate people in a soft PG-13.
We don't have the special effects budget for that.
And I
I
don't
wasn't
volunteer
talking
as
about
tribute.
faking it.
I don't volunteer as tribute. I will throw Brad underneath that butt.
I won't
Wow!
It's fine, I won't swing at Brad. Somebody's got to do the tech stuff, right?
Oh
And
yeah,
it'll be
because
me.
you're a lost cause.
Yeah.
I'm just here to look pretty.
Yeah. Anyway, so then,
Ah.
after Far From Home...
See, you're failing at it.
Oh,
So,
well, also...
You mean Homecoming?
Homecoming.
Yeah.
After Homecoming,
Well, and then we also...
So the end of Homecoming, we did get the introduction of Matt Gargan.
Right.
Which was interesting.
But with Homecoming, we also got the best thing.
The introduction of...
No.
I was going to say the introduction of Michael Keaton into the MCU.
There you go. No, I was saying no to her.
Oh.
I was just repeating what he said.
Yeah, I know, because
Just
you're
for
an idiot.
emphasis.
Yes,
I'm
it
sitting
was
right
not
beside
only
you.
was it Keaton back into superhero movies, it was Keaton back into superhero movies as the villain. And he was
And he did a great
pretty,
villain.
he
Yeah.
was pretty damn evil.
Like, I think everybody that knew the comics and knew the previous Spider-Man movies, the second that we all heard that the villain for Homecoming was going to be Vulture,
Yeah.
I think there was just a collective,
Huh?
why?
Like, oh,
From,
so I
like,
guess Sam
all
Raimi is
fans.
gonna get to make his fourth movie.
And then we actually saw Vulture.
Yeah.
And
Everyone
oh
was
my
like-
god.
Well, they also remember they introduced Prowler too, because the character that Childish Gambino plays the Prowler.
yeah.
They introduced Shocker. They introduced
Well, they
Scorpion.
introduced Shocker, then they killed Shocker.
They did introduce Prowler, didn't they?
They introduced Scorpion.
Yeah, but Shocker doesn't count if he dies.
He does if the tech is still out there.
Fine.
Someone else could pick it up.
So
Fine.
I just
And
want to
become
point
a
out
Shocker.
that like after Far From Home,
Are you assuming this is going to be just a serendipitous We Are Mysterio kind of thing?
Into the Spider-Verse.
no, I just want to point out we're going to talk about it later when we get to Far From Home. But four of the six Sinister Six are in play now
Mm,
Oh.
that's true.
in 2 movies.
Yeah, that's true. Okay, so after Spider-Man,
Was Thor?
which was
The best Thor movie.
surprisingly amazing, considering
I
what.
still really like the first one.
eh,
I don't know.
I
This
still say
one was.
the first one was the weakest of Phase 1, and that factors in
No, Iron Man 2
Iron
was the
Man 2
weakest.
being
No.
in there.
Iron Man 2
I think it
the
was
weakest.
weaker than Iron Man 2.
I think you're out of your damn mind.
Wow.
Especially with,
You're also biased.
especially mine.
You know, you hate Tony Stark.
Iron Man 1 is a fantastic movie,
That's fine.
and then it just went downhill.
I don't know. I'll rewatch Thor Ragnarok before I watch Thor 1 or 2 again.
Plus, you know, Thor did give us Loki.
Eh.
Only good thing from it.
Natalie Portman.
What do you think I'm into? I proposed to Loki. Remember this? Did
Looking
see
at
that
you
picture?
right now, I have no idea.
I proposed to Loki on a bachelorette party. I had a dare to propose to a stranger, and I proposed to a guy dressed up as Loki in the middle of a restaurant in downtown Dallas. I'll show that picture later.
That's awesome. But yeah, no, so... But no, Thor 3 was amazing. Ragnarok was fantastic. It was...
Jeff Goldblum.
An interesting villain.
Kate Blanchett.
Yeah. I mean, and that's the thing. I still think that even though I'm not really a Kate Blanchett fan, like I, for the most part, think that she can be severely overrated. Sometimes.
Name one film.
I said sometimes, not every. Not
Name one.
Later. We don't have time. We're already.
Would you be nice?
Wow. Anyway, I think that she could have done so much more with Hela, and it just, there wasn't enough time because so much else was crammed into the movie.
Yeah.
I think Hela could have had so much more development. That would have been awesome. I honestly think there should have been more time spent on the Warriors 3. I mean, if you're going to kill them all off, at least give them more than like a half-second cameo each.
Yeah.
Fleeting.
But,
Yeah.
I just, that was the weakest part of the movie.
Yeah.
Everything else about it was amazing, especially
Okay.
Jeff Goldblum. Because Jeff Goldblum.
Yeah.
I don't disagree.
You don't need any more explanation. It's Jeff Goldblum.
Sexy Ian Malcolm. Yes, got it.
Has aged well. Yes.
Yes. And here you were panicking about gray hair. It looks fine. I know it was really dangerous.
You know, not everybody knew about that.
I'm not sorry. You said I could give him crap, right?
Anyway. So we also, we did get one other awesome bit. Well, several other awesome bits, but one of my favorite awesome bits. The throwdown between Thor and Hulk.
Mm-hmm.
Which was just greatness.
He's too pissed with me right now. To have a proper conversation.
So, like, it was so great to see those two go head to head, especially when the previous two Avengers movies, they had like a back and forth thing where it was always mostly in good fun.
Yeah.
And then this time, not really.
Oh, it's okay, I know him.
Wow.
It's okay, I know him.
I
I'm
didn't say a damn thing.
I know, it's super dangerous for me to say that. I'm like centimeters away from him.
Well, but yeah, so, and then of course we got the introduction of Valkyrie.
Yep.
We finally got to see Thor come into his full power, which was awesome. Because we finally got to see him just really...
God of Thunder.
Yeah, like, not the God of Hammers, the God of Thunder. It was
would you
greatness.
cheer up?
No.
I activated the T-Next button, I'm sorry.
Anyway, so... Plus we got to see, we got more Ruffalo time on screen. Which worked.
Bruce Banner, strongest Avenger. What? If you're gonna hit me, just do it. I'll get one free pot shot.
Just drink your coffee. There you go. Now, do you have anything else to say about Ragnarok?
No.
Wow, okay. Then moving on from Ragnarok, which had the end credit scene, which was tied in with the end credit scene from Guardians.
Where everything starts going like this.
It all worked out together. And then following Ragnarok, we got Kyla.
Don't ask me.
Infinity War.
Oh yeah, okay. That's right.
No.
No.
Wait.
Black Panther.
Yeah, but it's
Black Panther.
and
Oh
then
yeah,
Infinity
Black Panther,
War.
then Infinity.
That's why
Sorry,
I
I
was
was
gonna
thinking
flip-flop
nah.
chronologically.
I think chronological rather than release dates.
Yeah.
My bad. Black Panther.
Would you cheer up?
No.
Oh, get the hell over it.
No, have you found one yet? All right then.
Found white. Does that count?
That's what he had. I've had gray hair since I was 12. It's not a big deal.
Wow.
Granted, mine's also a birthmark too, but I also have gray hair now.
And you
so,
say
like,
I'm the vain one. Anyway, so Black Panther.
really good.
Mike,
Yeah,
how was it?
it was good.
I'm sorry, I made him all grumpy.
I'm not a cat. Why are you petting me?
It's okay. Chin scratches? It's okay. I'm sorry.
Oh my gosh.
Yeah, Black Panther was good. I like Black Panther a lot. Killmonger, I think, was done really well.
Oh my gosh, yes.
Like, really
Michael
well.
B. Jordan being brought into the MCU was one of the best things that has happened to the MCU.
I love, like, I really
Especially after he got brutally tortured by being cast in the previous Fantastic piece of.
Yeah, we don't talk about that.
We really don't.
It's like Fight Club.
No.
First rule of Fight Club.
No, don't compare those two movies.
I'm just saying. You
Don't compare those
No,
two movies.
not comparing, just using it as reference. If you don't talk
No,
about it.
we don't even use a reference for comparison. That movie doesn't deserve to have even a decent movie
That's fair.
related
Okay.
to it.
That's fair.
That's fair.
Hell, that movie doesn't even deserve to have it be referenced in the same sense as The Phantom Menace. What are you talking about?
Ooh.
Oh. So, Black Panther was fantastic.
So
Really good.
we
Even
got-
if it was basically the real live-action Lion King.
Yeah.
I mean, Iron Man 3 was live-action Incredibles.
Yeah. With a little bit of anxiety. That's pretty much what Iron Man 3 was. Incredibles with anxiety. And panic attacks.
Yeah, this was basically Lion King in human form, and they were even running around dressed as cats.
And remember, I see the real live-action, because what's in theaters right now is not live-action.
It's all CGI.
CGI.
It's just a different type of animation. No.
Still gonna go see it.
Just no.
No, yeah, like you said, Jordan coming in and playing the villain was fantastic. It was a great casting choice, plus it helped that Ryan Coogler directed it. And
Oh, yeah.
whenever Ryan Coogler directs a movie, Michael B. Jordan's in it. Plus, with them working
Contractually
together.
obligated.
Yeah, well, as great of a
Like
job they
Tim
both did
Burton
on
and,
Creed.
Yeah.
So,
Also, another good movie.
Yeah.
but the supporting characters were
I didn't
also
see the
really
second
good.
one.
You had
Yes.
Okoye, you brought in Shuri,
Shuri!
which everybody loves Shuri.
She
She's
was
adorable
amazing.
and
So
precious.
Shuri
She
was
should be
amazing.
protected.
Okoye may have been my favorite supporting cast member,
Yeah.
Yeah.
just because I
Not
loved
Mbaku.
her deadpan, very super serious attitude about literally everything.
I kind of liked M'Baku, just a dude that's just big and shows up and beats the hell out of everything.
You
He-
would.
So have you
He's
ever
like Raphael.
actually heard him in interviews?
Mhm.
He is the exact opposite of his character.
Soft and cuddly?
Yes. Yes, which is so funny because there was one of the late night shows. He was on there with the rest of the cast, and they read some of the like the thirsty tweets
Yeah.
about him.
Oh my
to him,
gosh.
and he just had
Like-
some of the funniest
Yeah.
giggles about it. He's like, "Oh my god!"
Really?
Well, some
It
of the
was
tweets about
amazing.
him were pretty.
Oh,
It's like M'Baku thick. I was like, he like reads that and he just like drops basically like the phone that he's reading it on.
I'm pretty sure there were a couple ooh daddies in there
Yes,
that
there were.
Yeah.
he couldn't keep a straight face for, which was awesome. But yeah, like he was a great character. And even like that initial dynamic at the beginning where it's set up like, okay, so he could actually be like a potential villain later.
Yeah.
Like obviously he won't be, but the way that they set him up was so fantastic.
Right.
So,
bring something else to the...
Drink your coffee.
That's something else that you've seen is with the MCU, they've really gone out of their way to make it known that this is a different universe.
Yeah.
By like, yeah, this character's evil over in the MCU or in the comics universe, the 616 universe, and the Ultimates universe, but this is its own universe.
Yeah.
This isn't that character.
No. Which
you see
really nice.
which you see in Captain Marvel.
Yeah, you do. We just talked about that
For
the
better
other day,
or worse.
didn't we?
Yeah.
For better or worse.
And Spider-Man Far From Home.
Yes. Yeah. So, do we have anything else to say about Black Panther? I mean, other than the fact that it really was a groundbreaking film for the MCU, because...
And Boseman was fantastic.
Even though, and this is the part that, say what you will about the social commentary aspect of it.
There was a lot of that.
Which honestly,
which is good because they weren't afraid to tackle it.
Yeah.
It was a very important film
and it was
for
well
that.
done, how it was done. It tackled it without being like,
in your
here
face.
it is,
Yeah. It actually did it
tastefully.
well.
Yes.
Like, it wasn't just there for the sake of it, it was there written in a way that made sense.
It wasn't clickbaity, it was...
Yeah.
Oh no, that
I
final
love that
scene
word.
with
Yes, I love that term for this. It was not clickbaity, like
that
so many
final
other
scene
movies
with
try to make
longer,
it.
though, like, I can just think... I got chills thinking about it just now, because, like, it was so well written.
Oh, yeah.
You have to, like... Yes, no?
Yeah.
But even more than that, if we want to go off the premise, which we talked about in our Phase 1 review, that the entire cast of the MCU, other than Captain America, was the B team that was being brought in to build up the MCU. Black Panther was the first movie for a solo character, because Guardians definitely is, for the comics, was like C team, if that.
Yeah.
Black Panther was the first solo character film that truly proved that the MCU can bring in a character no matter how niche, no matter how non-mainstream they are, and they can make them popular.
Yeah.
And that may have been the most significant contribution that Black Panther had to the MCU, was to prove the level of quality that the MCU brought in their directors, in their writers, in their casting, that literally the most niche character they could think of at the time could be made one of the most popular.
And it's also...
to the public, not just the comic fans, to the public.
And it's just another, I guess, piece of... I'm trying to think of how to word this. I just lost my train of thought. I mean, it's another example of them understanding the right directors, the right writers, and the right actors to bring a character to life.
Yeah.
And bringing in somebody like Ryan Coogler, from a directing standpoint, was a massive deal, because you're bringing in a director that most other studios would never have looked at for a movie like this. And can't really say that it makes up for kicking Patty Jenkins off Thor 2, but it definitely shows that they have been trying to get back in the right direction of caring about the talent of the director more than their star power.
Right.
Yeah.
Which is great.
Yeah.
So then, after Black Panther, we had Infinity War.
End credit scene.
Yeah.
Bucky Barnes coming back and being all peachy.
And finally kind of giving us the like, yeah, it's about to go down.
Yep.
And it goes down.
And then it goes down in Infinity War.
Which...
where everything hits the fan.
So many story threads got pulled together in that movie.
And that's and that was something that, God, was it Collider? Was it Entertainment Weekly that did the big thing that, like, they literally were on set with them a year out? And they had to basically wait a year to run the story, because it basically they were hiding the fact that every member of the production team, the writers, directors that worked on all of the other Phase 3 films were on set as consultants for Infinity War.
Sure.
Yeah.
I'm trying to remember who it was that did that story. I think it was
I don't remember. I know I remember the story you're talking about, but I do not remember who published.
But like they literally were just like, yeah, we're pulling everybody in on this.
Yeah.
Like to the point that they were filming like Black Panther, like the Black Panther crew was doing stuff for Infinity War before Black Panther had even come out.
Which that actually worked out
the Captain Marvel
so much
team.
better than the Captain Marvel team in Endgame.
Right.
Seeing as how they really didn't know what was happening with Endgame and Captain Marvel until the Captain Marvel movie.
Right.
Yeah.
But Black Panther's team absolutely knew what was happening, and they were on top of it.
But like literally the fact that every writer and every director was a consultant on this film.
Yeah.
And they were on set.
From a directing standpoint, that I don't know if any other movie has had that many directors involved in a single film in such a collaborative way.
Yeah.
Like, that was fantastic.
Yes. And it shows.
It does.
Yeah.
It so does.
Like the pacing was amazing. The story was
because they did it the way they did.
10-year build.
Yeah, because they did it the way they did. Every scene with every character felt completely true to that character's movie's version of the character, compared to all the other crossover films before, where it felt like that film's version of the character.
Yeah.
And that director's interpretation of the character. This felt like the characters in their purest form in one movie, which you just don't get.
No.
But it's a style of filmmaking that I hope more studios take note of for other similar collaborative efforts, because I would love to see this type of final product more often, even if it's not necessarily a comic book movie.
Yeah.
Like, I'd even go so far as to say, any of the other nerdy franchises, like say 10, 20 years down the line, whenever there's a sustained Power Rangers franchise, or
that's probably not going to happen,
or anything else
that again.
Yeah,
Yay.
well, or anything else that Hasbro owns, G.I. Joe, or
that's going to get rebooted
Transformers,
again.
or
That's
whatever,
gonna get rebooted
like
again.
all that.
Yeah,
I'd be
always.
okay with having one of those franchises bring in the past directors to direct the scenes for the characters that their movies brought in.
Let's keep Michael Bay the hell away from future Transformers.
That their character, that their
But
movies brought in. Like,
let's keep Michael Bay
Bumblebee,
the hell away from
like bringing the Bumblebee director
explosions.
for Bumblebee scenes for a future Transformer movie, and bring in like that kind of thing. Just that's the kind of collaborative efforts that I would love to see more of, if it gives us these quality of movies.
Although you don't get like a very quirky version, like you said, where it's like, that's not quite the same character I fell in love with, but okay.
But no, this was, and we really felt in every scene, like you felt the direness, you felt the stakes being what they were.
It was the first movie, like in its entirety, that genuinely felt like a comic book crossover event come to life.
Yep.
Like all the others had been the cinematic
Yeah.
comic crossover. This was the first movie that, at least to me,
Everything.
felt like it was the comic crossover brought to life.
And then you had
like no hold barred.
you had the Black Order, but you had the real star of the show.
Vision.
Thanos did nothing wrong?
No, he still did a lot wrong.
Thanos 2020.
Thanos 2020.
I mean, only if he gets rid of the stupid people.
Oh, Squidward?
But no, it was like, I don't think I can't remember the last time I saw a portrayal of a movie where the villain was the main character. And that's exactly how they shot this movie.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, it was definitely shot in the way that every story beat
This wasn't about the Avengers trying to stop Thanos. This was about Thanos getting the stones.
Yeah, like every beat that was traditionally reserved for the protagonist was given to Thanos in the story.
Mm-hmm.
Like, what other movie has done that?
Nothing that immediately comes to mind.
I mean,
or at least
keep in mind
I can't
that's
think of one, but
what movie has the villain gotten that? Not the anti-hero.
Right.
What movie did the villain get that?
I was like, yeah, nothing comes to mind.
Because you can say the anti-hero got the protagonist role in plenty of other like superhero
Deadpool.
movies. Yeah. Well, even
My
movies
favorite.
where there was an actual protagonist plus the anti-hero and a villain. Like, you had those where, like, Winter Soldier even.
Yeah.
Oh, Dr.
You could
Purple
say,
sing-along blog.
But,
But like, of course.
fair.
But like,
Fair.
this was the culmination of a
Sorry.
10-year process.
It was.
Yes. And you could tell, by
Yep.
the time the movie was over, you could tell this was 10 years in the making.
And
I was
then-
emotionally like drained
Yeah.
from it. Like,
Well,
I think everybody was.
like we all know why. We can just go ahead and.
Mr. Stark,
I don't feel so
well.
good.
I don't feel so good.
Yep.
Mr. Stark?
Dude, I saw
Mr.
it.
Stark?
I saw it in the theaters ahead of time because of hookups and whatnot. I won't say how. But there was only like 20 of us in the theater, and like I was crying.
Oh, So when I went and saw it, I was sitting right by a kid who went to the theater dressed as Iron Man. And like he had his like costume on, he had like the plastic
Yep,
like
it's all
helmet.
your fault, kid.
Yep.
Anyways, the point that I was trying to get at was I was
Yes.
sitting right
Did you tell
beside
him
him.
like it's your hero's fault?
No, because I'm not a D-bag like you can be.
I'm sorry if I'm honest.
She's not
To a
Satan,
fault.
okay?
Might look like a Satan worshiper, I swear I'm not. Anyways, the point I was trying to get at was I was sitting beside him, I'm sitting here like bawling my eyes out. I brought tissues like packed into my purse just to like, I knew I was
Sure.
gonna need them.
Sure.
All of a sudden I hear, I look over and this kid's mask is like, he's throwing it on the floor, he's like sitting
knows.
like this.
He knows. Tony done effed up. He knows.
Can I finish my story without your cynicism for like 2 seconds?
No.
You're asking no cynicism from Mike?
Just 2 seconds.
Can we ask him a lot?
Anyways, like he's like, the kid's maybe 7 or 8.
Sure.
He's like throwing his mask down on the ground. He's like doubled over, crying into his hands, and almost like, hey bud, like, and I handed him a tissue because his parents are also bawling their eyes out and not able to console him.
Yeah.
And he was not okay. Like it was.
Good.
Oh my god. Okay, it was 2 seconds.
Choose better heroes.
It was 2 seconds, so I'll give him that one. But like, I was like, oh my gosh. Even
But like we saw it together.
Yeah.
And when the credits hit, dude,
Oh.
nobody was talking.
yeah, no.
Nobody was moving. Everybody just sat there.
I went to a completely sold out showing of it, and
People
like,
stuck
you
around
could hear-
for end credits, hoping that there would be an end credit scene that would make things a little bit better.
I think we only had 5
and
people leave.
then we
before.
got the one end credit scene that people kind of went like, wait, what?
No.
But even then, it didn't really make it better.
No.
It was just kind of surprising.
It's like that meme that was going around. It's like Thor was like me going to sit down and watch Infinity War, and he's all cheery. He's like me afterwards. He's like, it's not okay.
No,
No.
not okay
Not
at all.
Okay.
But it was brilliant.
Oh yeah, no, it was fantastic, but it was.
But it was brilliant because it set up. And you can see why this was originally supposed to be a 2-part film.
Oh yeah, there's no way around it.
No,
But-
there.
Mm-mm.
Even if you wanted to try to combine them without cutting out major parts of the story, this couldn't have. Neither
And it's super
Infinity
smart
War
that
or
they-
Endgame
yeah.
could have been shorter than it was.
No. But it also makes sense why they
Game
then
was
turned them
3
into.
hours?
Endgame was 3 hours, yeah. Infinity War was 240. But like it also makes sense why they turned them into 2 separate movies because it got to the point where it's like, how do you end it? Where do you put the snap in if the snap is going to happen?
Yeah.
And it was brilliant to end Infinity War with that gut punch of just like, what the hell's gonna happen next?
Yep. Yep.
Man,
And
it
after-
was. Oh.
And then after that, we got a little bit of a cheerier movie with Ant-Man and the Wasp thing.
Yay!
Until its end credit scene.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But in the meantime,
Guys.
Ant-Man and the Wasp was actually really fun.
It was exactly what it needed to be.
Yes,
I-
it was
I-
just fun.
Fun.
Yeah.
It was fun.
I need that gentle holding after Infinity War. It
Yes.
was like, everything will be okay. We'll get through it. Until the end credit scene.
Yeah. But then you also finally got the last member of the original Avengers team on the big screen. Wasp.
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
And they even brought Michelle Pfeiffer into play.
Yeah.
Which was just great.
So like finally, it was kind of one of those like Kevin Feige in interviews.
And she has actually aged surprisingly well.
Yes.
Like Kevin Feige in interviews always talked about that like in his office is the cover of Avengers #1, and he was literally just crossing them off as they were finally getting them on the big screen.
So good.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, that was a fun movie.
It was.
But it was also a very important movie.
Because it introduced the whole reason why Endgame was even possible.
The Quantum Realm.
Quantum Realm.
Well, it was introduced in the first one.
But we got to dive into it.
Right.
Literally
yeah.
dive
they
into it.
Literally go into it, and you understand how the Quantum Realm works and how time is displaced and everything like that.
Yeah.
I was actually okay with what they did with their villain for that movie with
Ghost.
Yeah.
I was okay with that because she was a villain who, in
She had a
all
basic
rights,
drive.
wasn't really a villain.
Yeah, she just had a basic.
She was desperate and didn't have time or the
Quite literally.
inclination
Yeah.
to try to sit down and ask nicely for help.
She was also like a small kid, wasn't she? Or younger than most everybody else.
Early 20s, I think. She was younger.
So she started off as a kid when she was afflicted with her issue.
Yeah,
Right.
that's what I'm
She
saying.
worked-
Yeah,
she grew up.
She
never
worked up to like the
yeah,
early 20s.
she never
like,
gotten a
late
chance to
teens,
actually
yeah.
like
Yeah.
learn how to
Right.
properly.
Yeah. So that was.
Yeah,
Yeah.
That's more what I was getting
Yeah,
at. Is like
yeah.
mentally she was acting like a child, just
But
Yeah.
not quite able to use words to be like help.
and then, like you alluded to, we get the end credit scene.
And
guys,
can't forget Lawrence Fishburne's cameo as Goliath, which
And then
yeah.
or Walton Goggins being in this movie.
How big did you get?
well, which was
Seriously?
sorry, I'm blanking.
Justified?
Oh yeah. I can remember the guy's actual name. Just remember the roles he's been in.
Yeah.
I have that same problem.
Yeah. But
yeah, getting Walton Goggins in this was awesome.
I mean, that was actually like starting off going, okay, is he gonna be like a villain or okay?
Yeah,
So he's just gonna be the comedic relief that comes in every now and then.
Yeah.
That thinks he's the villain. Got it.
Yeah.
Which honestly, I was okay with that whole plot line. Like, I know there were a lot of people I've talked to that were actually kind of annoyed by it because they're like, why was that necessary? I thought that part of this movie was hilarious.
Yeah.
But yeah, no, Ant-Man and the Wasp was a lot of fun. We finally got to see Evangeline Lilly kick some ass, which was a lot of fun.
Yeah.
And
She was
got a better
definitely better used than she was in the first movie.
and she got a better haircut than she had in the first one.
Yes.
Yeah.
And then, after Ant-Man and the Wasp, we got...
Captain Marvel.
Which...
It was there. It brought some depth to the universe.
Best Stan Lee cameo.
It...
We finally got the introduction of the
Sorry.
Skrulls.
Yeah, got the scrolls.
We did get a proper expansion of the cosmic side of the MCU.
Mhm.
Right.
Like, we finally got to see more of what was happening out there.
Right.
Which...
It's not all Dishonored.
Between-
There's other crap going on.
Yeah, between Captain Marvel 2 and Guardians 3, those may be the only cosmic sides of the MCU for Phase 4.
Well, if they come to Phase 4, we don't know yet.
Yeah, if they end up coming to Phase 4. Which, I mean, if they continue to build off of everything that Captain Marvel showed us was out there and the issues that are happening, both of those movies could end up having a lot to play with just from the things that were introduced in Captain Marvel alone.
Yeah.
Not even mentioning some of the things that were brought up for Guardians 2
Right.
to add in on top of that.
Right.
But no, Captain Marvel was okay. It was definitely clear to me that the director had never done movies before, that he was a strictly TV guy, because...
Well, I think it was... No, wasn't it? Who did that? Keep talking.
Hi. Well,
I'll just tell
You have an IMDb app on your phone.
So do I.
Of course.
I get to judge him.
Oh, man.
Why?
Because you're
But the I mean, the camera work.
My goal in life
the camera work was very basic. Like it was close up, out,
Yeah,
couple mid range.
Anna Boden and Ryan Fleck directed it.
And their previous work.
I'm getting there, damn it.
Yeah, and of course the big issue here was that.
Now that you're like talking about like being filming a TV show, it did seem like each kind of like section of the movie was like episodic.
Well, not even that.
And
like,
feeling, at least.
If you look at the camera work, you have your close-ups, your mid-range, and your wide-angle shots, and very little movement of the camera in between.
Yeah.
And a very inappropriate understanding of when each type of shot was needed.
Yeah.
Like, you had close-up shots for a lot of the fight scenes, which really should have been minimum mid-range shots. Yeah. You had a lot of like the big space battles set as wide shots, which should have been close up to give them more context.
So she directed It's Kind of a Funny Story, which is actually a film that doesn't get enough credit.
Which is kind of a funny story. I said, which is kind of a funny story.
Waka waka waka.
But anything else? Anything else interesting?
That's really about it.
Yeah, these are very inexperienced directors that just didn't understand cinematic camera movement. And unfortunately,
which
it
helps
showed.
Really sets a scene too.
Yeah.
Like, it can really detract from it if it's not done properly.
And, like, I had heard that particular critique actually literally right before I walked in to see the movie for the first time. And
so you had that, like, fresh on your mind too.
Mississippi Grind.
Well, so, like, I heard it, and then I couldn't not see it.
That's,
like, every aspect of it, I'm going, wait, huh. So
it's like most other people would have done it like this way, or like
like why wouldn't you have like moved the camera with it? Why would you have not gone like handheld cam here or steady cam over here? That should have been a crane shot. That shouldn't have been just like because that was the other thing. Most of the camera shots felt like they were like strapped down on a tripod because there was so little camera movement, and it just didn't feel natural.
That's why I said it felt like, so it's kind of like TV show. I say episodic because like each, looking back at the movie, like me just now looking back on it, like this section, this part, this part. It wasn't like a flow.
So
it was very like blocky.
So they're a duo. They direct everything together. But they also did Half Nelson.
Oh.
Which actually wasn't a bad play.
Yeah, but they only have how many directing credits between them?
Like 4 or 5. But they're still. Kind of a Funny Story, Half Nelson, Mississippi Grind. Those aren't bad movies.
But they aren't.
But I mean, you understand.
They aren't
what
big epics like this should have been.
Yeah.
So no, it a different director probably could have done a better job with it, but overall, I can't really knock the story too much because the story was decent. It wasn't a terrible story. It was just. It needed a different director, or with these directors, they needed a different story that would fit how they understood camera work. But the problem was the story they had didn't fit their style, and they needed somebody to have held their hands along the way that they didn't have.
I still think the best thing in that movie was Samuel L. Jackson fawning over a cat.
I still think the best thing in that movie was Sam Jackson's face in general. Like, the CGI for his face, oh my gosh. Like, we have come so far from the opening scene from Ant-Man.
Yeah.
And, we have come so far from that, and that was just a couple years ago.
Yeah.
I mean...
Oh, I know. Like I said,
wow.
Just him fawning over the cat. Oh, who's a good kitty? Oh, who's a good kitty? I was like, this is the best thing ever.
And then we finally find out who personally betrayed him to make him lose his eye.
Yeah.
That part I was actually a bit like, why?
Yeah, that
really,
was kind of like,
you guys couldn't have come up with something more interesting than that.
I've been carrying that thing around.
Also, something else I heard later that actually made a lot of sense. The end or the mid-credit scene where the cat.
No, that was the end.
Oh, the end credit scene where the cat vomits up the Tesseract would have made so much more sense if they had cut the scene where he ate it in the first place, so that it just disappeared and nobody really knew where it was, and all of a sudden the credit scene,
I'll give you that.
and you're going,
oh,
like that was probably the one other comment about the movie that like it hit me going, wait, that would have been good.
Yeah. As opposed, like you said, just disappearing, and it's like, oh no, not a hairball, no, oh.
Yeah.
Oh.
That's not a hairball.
Yep.
Oh. I'm just kidding.
And then finally in game, because we are now hour 10 minutes in.
I think if we'd let him go on about Civil War.
Right. Oh, thanks. Somebody jumped on, likes my cap shirt. Hey. But yeah, so in game. Huh.
Yeah.
That was...
I was emotionally drained after the end of that movie.
I still am. Like
I told everybody going in, we had a major launch at work. I was like, cool, so here are the people that you can call because you're not calling me.
Yep.
Because as soon as I get into that theater, my phone's turning off. It's not going on silent, it's turning off.
So
that was a tough one.
Nothing else will exist for the next 3 hours.
Yeah.
Outside of this movie theater.
The end of Infinity War was tough. The entirety of Endgame was tough. Like, it was just emotionally draining.
It was basically, it was the final send-off for what has been
too many people.
Essentially the entirety of my adult life.
Yeah?
This franchise started when I was 21 years old. 20.
Yeah.
First Iron Man came out when I was 20.
Yeah.
Like, it has been essentially the entirety of my adult life has been led up to that movie.
Wait, what year did Iron Man come out?
2008.
2008.
Oh dang, it did.
Same year as The Dark Knight.
Yeah, no, that Endgame was so emotionally draining. I just
I don't even know where to begin with it. It was just
there was some great stuff in it. Although our friend Anna, I can't stop agreeing with her that Black Widow deserved better.
I don't think she did. I think that fit the character perfectly.
Yeah.
Really?
Yes.
You think that that's how she should have ended and Hawkeye survived?
Yes.
Really?
Yeah.
Her big thing, like,
because she never had anything until she had them.
Yeah.
So to do whatever it took to get them back makes total sense.
That's who she picked as a family.
Mm.
That was who she picked as family. That's the people she fell in love with.
Like, so much so that it was in the original draft, it was Hawkeye that went over. And it was and the Russo brothers, it was one of their, I think it was their second unit director or whatever that's been with them on everything. She was like, no. She's like, you're not taking this away from her.
No, like she's
like, this is her moment. Like the whole taking the red out of the ledger and making up for the past sins and everything like that. Like that was it. That was everything led to that moment for her.
It was it was actually a perfect bow for her. It get emotional thinking about it because like she went through so much crap.
Like when they're sitting there trying to figure out what they're gonna do, and she's just like, whatever it takes.
Yeah.
And
that was all her drive was.
I mean, I will say
it was
that
literally to put her family back together.
Yeah.
I will say that she had some amazing character moments in the game. Like, it was a great movie for her. I mean, I personally wish that it could have been, I don't know, it could have been a little bit different. But I also think it would have been better overall if she had just gotten more development before in-game.
But this was her moment to kind of shine.
But yeah, no, it definitely was.
Because she was never, and everybody being pissed off that they didn't hold a funeral for her, like, she was never a public figure.
No.
Yeah.
She showed, like, the only thing that she ever did publicly was at the end of Winter Soldier when she's testifying before Congress.
Yes.
Yeah.
And then she's like, we're pretty much going to go back to doing what we do. Bye.
Yep.
Yeah.
Yeah. Cool. And then, of course, as Clyde Williams over on YouTube is pointing out, Captain America.
Which scene?
So much Captain America.
Which scene?
All of them.
I mean,
definitely the big one at the end.
I mean, but let's be
big ones at the end.
But let's be real.
But, like,
it is America's ass first and foremost.
Yeah.
Yes.
It is America's ass.
Oh,
That's America's ass.
It's like I always thought of that as America's ass, Cap. That is America's ass.
You're beating himself up.
Honestly, that whole cap on cap fight scene, that was just amazing.
Yeah.
And I
was so
loved
great.
that
He's like,
they did
oh,
that.
you've got to be kidding me.
I love
I
that they
found
did
Loki.
that.
I was like, are they really about to do this?
Did we? So I guess like I think I asked you right
Oh,
afterwards.
The secretary has me on it personally. Plans have changed. Everybody's like, wait, this guy too?
So what? That part, oh my gosh, I about died when that happened. I'm like, oh yes.
I think the smirk when this was the best thing. It was just like,
Just like, what the hell?
oh my gosh.
I mean, especially for all of the comic book fans out there that actually sat through and read the Captain Hydra, Secret Empire stuff. That was just amazing.
Yeah.
That they went there.
But like
I know I talked to you about it.
And then of course, at the end of that scene, or I guess the thing that caused that scene to go crazy, Hulk.
yeah.
Just
No more
busting out of
stairs!
there. Oh my god!
I talked to him afterwards. I think you were doing something in middle, like, I think you were at work, and I texted you and went, where did Loki go? Because all of a sudden dawned on me that like it was never like, it was just,
We'll figure that out.
he was just gone.
We'll figure
And I
that
went-
out
I
in
was
the
like-
Disney Plus series.
I was like, did you talk to Brad about this? He was like, I don't know. I was like, but where did Loki go? He's like, I don't have any answers for you. He's like, but what happened?
We're going to find out later.
Multiverse.
No, I was so like fixated on that. Like I started like reading a bunch of stuff. I was like blowing you up. I think you were at work, like I said. Like it was just.
This isn't Back to the Future. Wait, Back to the Future is bullshit. Like,
Oh
it's,
my gosh.
but like, what made it so great was that they literally they called back so many things from so many previous movies.
Yeah, and they did it in such a way that you're looking back at those movies going, wait, was this like
Planned?
planned? Or did they just happen to really see some opportunities?
They planned everything.
Which is so crazy. Even like,
Like
we haven't gotten there yet,
but like Ronan and Black Widow flying to Vormir, and he's just like, he's like, this reminds me of Budapest. Like the callback to them bantering in the first Avengers movie.
Yeah.
Like
all of it was just fantastic.
It was a callback to everything.
Yeah.
Yep.
And so
I was not
here's what I will say. While Infinity War was the comic book event brought to life in its purest form, Endgame was that in its proper epic narrative. Like it didn't feel like the comic book event. It felt like the comic epic.
Yeah.
And especially when you take those two movies and put the stories together into a single one, it truly is
Turns into the Odyssey.
the comic book epic.
Like they literally had to go back through time and tackle everything that happened before it to get to the end.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But yeah, like that first trailer where it's just like part of the journey is the end. I was like, I am not ready for this movie emotionally.
No.
Okay, so as much crap as you want to give Tony Stark,
he finally did
his
something
scene
right.
with his dad.
That was great.
And then when they brought back freaking Jarvis.
Yeah.
Oh.
Yeah, the callbacks to all the shows.
Yes.
Like the callback to the Agent Carter show. This was literally.
They brought back Peggy. They brought back Jarvis.
Peggy.
This movie was for everybody that's been there every step of the way. They referenced everything.
The one part of the MCU TV side that the cinematic side was willing to acknowledge.
Yeah.
They still won't acknowledge Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D., but that's...
Well, technically they went to an alternate future, so we're not sure what's going on with that. But, but like, it was...
like, and you just like...
But like, and it's so funny because like Christopher Marcus and Stephen McFeely in interviews, they're like, at what point is it fan service? At what point is it actually doing like proper justice to the story?
It's always proper justice to the story.
But like, they basically were like, we just got to the point where it's like, while some of it's going to be fan service, we realize that it's fan service, like, not in a sense that we're kind of dumbing down the audience or we're kind of playing to what the audience wants. It's fan service in that it's what's true to the characters.
Sure.
Yeah.
And like,
that
it's
was
what
great.
the characters, like Tony Stark finally doing the one thing and finally making the play for, like, it calls back to in Avengers when he's like, you're not the guy to make the hero play. You're not the guy to lay on the wire while your buddy crawls over you to get to safety.
No.
And he finally makes the hero play.
Yeah.
Yeah.
As the last thing that he does.
And then during
Just
that final
looking
fight,
over Doctor Strange
the-
and just him
yeah,
Yeah, like, yeah, he's like, if I tell you it won't happen because you'll keep trying to find a way to not be the guy to make the play. And then when it happens, he just looks at him and
his
gives him a
interaction
fist.
with Doctor Strange during that final fight,
Yeah.
like that, honestly, that got me because like it took me a second to realize what he was saying.
Yeah, he's like,
and then as
this
soon as
is
it
the one.
started happening, it dawned on me. Wait, no,
Yeah.
no, oh,
Yep.
oh, wow,
Yeah,
Yeah.
and like that scene's great where like
oh,
you're like, oh, Captain Marvel's got, oh shit,
yeah,
like what? And then like even the face that Strange makes, he's like, no, and like Tony looks over at him, he's like, no, this is it.
Yeah. No, I was. Like I kind of had an idea as soon as you did the one. I was like, no.
Okay.
And then
Talking about that final fight, I will say, as much as I enjoyed the female Avengers team
the
up,
A-Force call
the
out?
A-Force
Yeah.
call out, trying to protect Spider-Man and the
Adorable
glove,
baby Tom Holland.
I will say how it should have ended actually did that scene better.
which was, I'm trying to remember what they're.
How it should have ended came back in, and they came together, everybody's ready to go, and then Captain Marvel just goes,
Oh, just blast everybody.
Hold on.
Yeah.
oh, sorry, did you guys want part of that?
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
No, I guess not.
It's just okay. And they're all just looking at her pissed, like,
It's our moment.
like that.
our moment.
I saw that, and it just kind of started clicking. Wait, she could have done that, couldn't she? Like,
Yeah.
huh?
But like and it's so poignant too. Like the
Protect
last,
baby Tom Holland.
like the last words that Tony Stark said are the last words to the end of the first Marvel movie.
I am Iron Man.
Yep.
Oh,
Like it was literally like they took everything that came before it into account when making this film.
Yeah.
Like the fact
oh,
that
Cap lifting Mjolnir.
yep, we finally we
Oh.
got that.
Ah, I knew it.
But, yeah,
That scene.
Oh.
when it's like I was like, how is he controlling it? It hits him in the back and then it goes like fucking yes, yes. And then he just catches it, and I was like, sorry.
But-
yeah.
But no,
I
no.
understand. I understand.
Okay, that one was
yeah.
kind of one appropriate time.
Like
Oh.
like, dude, like the theater went absolutely nuts.
Yeah, no, I think I squealed like a really I had a kid sing
there-
by me again. I was like, yes.
Like,
So there was actually one of those cell phone videos that popped up like right after it came out.
Yep.
That was just that scene came up, and like the audio for on the phone literally cut out because
Yep.
it spiked so hard
Yep.
because the audience just.
Yeah.
Oh.
Yeah.
And then you got the scene
Oh.
of Thanos breaking the shield, just like in the comics,
Yeah.
and he's laying like the only. To me, the film was perfect for what it was. It was literally the culmination of an event. It was.
Yeah.
It was a singular event that built up 10 years in the making. There's one thing that I would have done different, and it's the I can do this all day line. I wouldn't have put it in the Captain America fight.
Really.
I would have put it at the end when Thanos is monologuing and just talking and talking and talking, and the army's
Yeah.
and he gets up and he pulls the strap tighter and the shield's all busted and he's all cut up. That's where I would have used that.
I agree with you on that
Okay,
one. That
yeah.
would have been amazing.
Mm-hmm. I could do this all day.
And then
And honestly, I was kind of expecting it, and then yeah.
I mean, for the comedic bite, I like it. Where I can do this all. Yeah, I know.
But
and then when everybody
the
starts
part,
coming back through the portals,
Yeah,
it's,
so-
we lost like
the on your left
Yeah.
bit that came up, and
and
that's the part I was
opens.
oh.
Yep. And then everybody comes through.
Like
and he
I
gets,
got chills when that happened.
And then he gets
on your left,
yeah.
and then just.
And then he gives the Avengers
Oh.
assemble line finally, and he doesn't yell it. He just like says assemble, like it's Avengers
Assemble.
assemble. Like let's
Go!
And then the music starts building up and they're all running at each other. I was like, here we go. Like,
Yes.
oh, dude, the theater was going insane.
Especially with the scene right before that, Thanos having his army just appear behind him, and he just had that cocky look on his face.
Just like, I got this. This is
Dude,
cool.
and then even then when they defeated him, like, it wasn't this grandiose thing where Thanos is monologuing about how he would have done so much. Like, he
like
just...
how it was at the beginning.
He just, yeah. Like how
because this was a very different Thanos.
Yeah.
And so it was a
before.
different...
Yeah.
Right.
It was a different reaction.
But even then, like, all the times that we had seen him, like, he was talking about how what he was doing was best for the universe and how he's really right and blah, blah, blah. And then when he loses, he doesn't cry, he doesn't pout, like, he literally just goes and sits down. And then just kind of dusts.
Yeah. Although...
Yeah.
I know that they could never have done it for the movie, but once again, I gotta give props to how it should have ended. The opening scene that they did for their in-game how it should have ended, when they're talking, they're going in there, they're talking about how, you know, they can, you know, well, if you go back to New York, you can you can have 3 different Infinity Stones at any given time, and then Thor walks in. Well, if you go back to whatever the planet was where Thanos was, you can have all 5 of them at one time. Wait, what?
Yeah.
And then Thor's like, well, I got this, buddy, you're kind of out of shape. No, give me a second for a fitness montage. I got this. Comes back in, full, like, beard braided up and everything. He's like, okay, cool. Comes in, and, like, right as Thanos is getting ready to snap to get rid of it, arm cuts off, and he's like, what was that? Whack!
Yeah.
Got the head this time.
And that's something too, like the fact that they killed him 10 minutes into the movie.
Yeah.
I know.
I was like,
Just
where are we
through
going from
expectations.
here?
I was just like...
Oh. And then he kind of just stumbles off, kind of in a daze, and then
Yeah.
it does the 5-year time. And then Ronan coming in.
Yeah.
Oh, that scene's amazing.
Oh,
Yeah.
yeah.
Where, like, literally you see where Nat's kind of directing them all to... And then, like, she puts War Machine on trying to find Clint, and he's like... He's killing everyone.
Everyone.
Yeah.
He's like, it's a bloodbath. And then, like, she finally, like, catches up to him after he wastes an entire, basically, subdivision of the Yakuza.
Yeah.
And he's just like,
if not the entirety of
he's
one.
just like, you shouldn't be there.
It was a lot of people.
And he wasn't messing around either. Like, he was
there was no
killing
hesitation
everything.
in any of his swings.
Yeah. But, since
also
we
he's
literally
amazing at
could
everything
go
else to
through
lose,
and
so,
just fangirl over in-game all day.
Well, and then the end.
Yeah.
Them teasing, seeing her throughout their time heist, as Ant-Man so poetically called it.
Mm.
Yeah.
Because Back to the Future is bullshit. Which is still an amazing line.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But then
Cap
he finally
coming back and handing out the shield.
Well, it wasn't even that he did it. It's like, yeah, so Steve volunteered for this, and I was like, I'm not ready for this.
No.
I know what's about to happen.
Yep.
And then
As soon as he was
The
like,
comments he made to
down.
Bucky. And,
Yep. And then, like, all right, 5, 4, and he doesn't come back, and Bruce and Falcon and Sam are freaking out, and Bucky just kind of gets that little smile and just walks off. I was like,
yeah.
It was too.
Yeah.
like he got to live his life.
Yeah.
But I'm gonna like.
Now moving on to the final edition
Well, I was gonna say,
of
do we need to
the
really do this?
Phase 3.
We'll
Spend like 2 minutes on it since we actually did a spoiler-free review and a spoiler review, which is still, I swear, coming. Life and stuff got busy.
Yeah.
We're adults.
Yeah.
One of us has a kid.
Anyway, so Spider-Man Far From Home came out, and honestly, while in-game wrapped up the storylines that had been built up to well, Far From Home helped wrap up the impact on the universe well, because that was the one thing that we only got to see for like a minute towards the beginning. Well, it's not even a minute, a little bit longer at the beginning of the movie, the impact of the snap on the universe, on the people.
Right.
But then Far From
The movies over 3 years is.
Yeah. A lot.
Once you like put it in that perspective, it's kind of mind-boggling.
Exhausting?
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's a bit much.
Okay.
Oh, hey, internet's back up.
Huzzah! No.
Anyway, so, yeah, with that,
This has been fun.
it really has.
So.
But yeah, it's all, it's been great. Great talking about it.
Really great.
And yeah, so for those of you that stuck around through the weird internet outage that just hit.
The blip.
No, the
Ah!
It is the decimation.
It's the blip.
It is
I
the
hate the name,
decimation.
but like,
It is the decimation, damn it.
Anyway, thank you for sticking around this long. As we said at the very beginning of this, if this is your first time checking out one of our videos, if you're watching on YouTube, don't forget to subscribe, which is down here or down below. Either
Down here somewhere.
In the towel section?
Well,
Why am I like in the middle of this part?
And if you are watching on Facebook,
I think it's up
don't
here
forget
somewhere.
to like and follow us up here somewhere.
I think it's over me.
Is it?
One of the two. And then of course, if you like our stuff but don't always have time to be able to watch, all of our interviews and podcasts are available in audio form on iTunes, Spotify, Google
Great for
Play,
long car rides.
iHeartRadio, Stitcher.
Did you say iTunes already?
Yeah.
Yes. Pay
I
attention.
think that's it.
I think that's it.
Yeah. And yeah, so don't forget to check us out over there if you prefer the audio of all this. But in the meantime, thank you all for sticking around, and until next time, this is Brad Mike from Dallas Geek with Kyla.
Don't.
Saying,
What? I'm just extra.
Yes, you are.
see ya.